My wife and I are expecting our first child in just a couple of weeks. And I will tell you, these new advisories on vaccines have only created more confusion for people like us. I know you feel it. This week, the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices, they voted to split up the vaccines for measles, mumps, rubella, and chickenpox into separate shots. What does that mean? Now, the panel, they decided not to make a decision about whether or not newborns should get the hepatitis B vaccine, so that creates even more confusion for people like me. Are these recommendations based on medical science? Are they based on politics? Because there's one thing I know for sure. Most parents, they just want to keep their children healthy, and they do not give a damn about the politics. So here to help me make an educated decision for my own family, hopefully for you, former CDC Director Robert Redfield and Dr. Florence Rosen. Great to have you both here. Thank you so much. Okay, so real quick, I just want to talk about COVID, where now there is a limit to, this being limited to people 65 and older. Dr. Redfield, they also say consult with your doctor. What's wrong with consulting with your doctor?
No, I think it's great to consult with your doctor. The COVID vaccines don't prevent infection. And they really do modify disease for people at risk for bad disease. They probably always should have been recommended for the vulnerable, those over 65. And unfortunately, they were recommended for the broader population. So I actually think they're bringing these recommendations back to where they belong. But you can still talk to your doctor and see what they think for you.
Dr. Rosen, do you agree or do you believe that parents, particularly of young children, again, I'm in this position, do you think it's important they get vaccinated for COVID?
Well, first of all, let me congratulate you on your upcoming child.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
think that's great.
Thank you.
As far as COVID goes, this is really an interesting time because this is honestly the first time in my very long career that I see a real discrepancy between the CDC and the AAP. American Academy of Pediatrics. And the evidence that I see from the AAP and what I've looked at is that kids under 2 are at very significant risk. In fact, the greatest risk is under 6 months, but those kids are too young to get immunized. So, particularly if you are a parent and you have a toddler in the house and you're expecting another child, you really want to limit your child's exposure as much as you possibly can. So I think it really is important for kids 6 months to 2 to get their shots. And I think beyond that, the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends any child with any underlying disease. And I think it's critical. One of the reasons why we're seeing so much less terrible disease is obviously the virus has mutated. Well, that's great, but people have also gotten vaccines and they've also been infected. If you have someone that's totally naive to this illness, they could still potentially be very sick.
I want to put the COVID to the side because we can debate that one. It's the MMRV one I'm just really confused about. Dr. Redfield, splitting it up, good thing, bad thing? I mean, it's been done, there's this one shot for so long.
I think you have to look at the data in terms of side effects and toxicity. Obviously, the committee was concerned that the inclusion of the varicella component to it was associated with increased brain swelling in younger children. Now, they do recommend both the MNR and they do recommend a separate varicella. So it's not like anybody is denied any vaccine if they want it as childhood vaccines. I think it's a problem when people start rationalizing that we have to make this easier for people. Let's just put it all together in one vaccine. I'm not an advocate of that. I actually think the committee came out with a reasonable recommendation. I wasn't there to see all the data, and my colleague here on the pediatric side may have more, but I know there was concerns about the brain swelling consequences, and so they said, let's split them up.
And Dr. Rosen, do you think this is a good change? I mean, is this even that much of a change when you think about it?
No, it's actually very minimal.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is the statistic I saw is that 80% of pediatricians are already not taking them combined between the MMR and the varicella's 2 separate shots for kids under 4. When kids get their booster between 4 and 6, that's where some doctors will do the MMRV. And I think this change is a very minimal change, but it does err on the side of safety. So I actually agree with this.
Okay, and hepatitis B, Dr. Redfield, they kind of punted it. It was a whole question about whether newborns should get it. They didn't make a decision. What should I be taking away from that?
Well, this is my expertise historically, and I really don't believe that the hepatitis vaccine is a critical vaccine for children and newborns. I think it's something we got to get into adolescent vaccines along with human papillomavirus. But they decided to punt it because they want to see all of the data. I'm glad that they really underscored the importance of all pregnant women being screened for hepatitis B, because if you're hepatitis B positive, those children do need to be vaccinated. So I suspect they're going to debate it a little more. They want to see the data in terms of how much data do we have about safety and efficacy in immunizing children under the age of 1 month.
So Dr. Rosen, we got about 20 seconds left. Your take on it, if it's ultimately a decision on it, should every parent consider hepatitis B for their children, the vaccine?
I think yes, because I think the risks are minimal. And the incidence of chronic hepatitis B went down from 20,000 cases to roughly 200 cases. 20 cases a year after they changed the recommendation for all newborns to get it. Now, if a mother's negative and she wants to put it off for a month, you're taking a very minimal risk by waiting.
Okay. Look, this was helpful. Hopefully my wife was watching. Is she even watching? Hopefully she's watching. All right, Dr. Redfield, Dr. Rosen, thank you both so much, and thank you for the work that you do. Appreciate you both. You got it.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.